Welcome to a very special segment today where I'm surrounded by important and interesting gaming personalities. So let's start with some introductions.
My name is Rini bin Ramli. I'm the Secretary General of eSports Malaysia. So eSports Malaysia is the governing body for electronic sports in Malaysia.
Welcome, Rini, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. And then we have Jeff.
Yes, I'm Jeffrey. I'm currently actually the manager of one of the professional teams in Malaysian League of Legends. I'm actually handling Kuala Lumpur Hunters, everything from practicing, from training to their daily life. I handle all those kind of things.
And then we also have a pro gamer here.
My name is Muhammad Atif Aimullah.
You're a league pro gamer. All right, I got lots of questions. So let's start with eSports Malaysia. What does eSports Malaysia do actually?
So what we do is we promote and develop electronic sports in Malaysia. Anything that's digital, from computer to gaming console to even mobile. If there is an element of competition between the games, even though you play, for example, Candy Crush or Angry Bird or even Clash of Clans, if you can compete with another player, it's already considered as eSports, electronic sports.
To be honest, if you want to compare eSports and sport, I will give you an analogy. For example, when Lee Chong-wei scores against Lin Dan in the finals, we would be cheering for them, we would be very excited, we would be hyped. This is the same thing with eSports. We are playing games, but at the same time it's in a competition. You have a lot of skill that you have to learn, a lot of things that you have to execute, a lot of strategy you have to go through. So all these kind of things revolve into a sports where we compete against each other. So if you ask me what's the difference and what are the similarities, I would say most of it is the same.
And from the gamer side, I'm assuming you grew up with video games.
Yes.
Okay. When you made the transition from just playing games to being a pro gamer, what changed, or did anything change?
Alright, so video games are just playing for fun. But when it comes to eSport, it becomes serious gaming, a competition between another. For me, if other video game that have no competition material in it, it's just a game sold purposely to fill up your masa lapang. But eSport, you need to be serious because it's a competition and it involves money, prizes pool.
Especially when it comes to money, very important. Okay, what's the state of eSports in Malaysia? So we had the Malaysian Gaming Commission set up earlier this year. Has there been any changes recently in eSports in Malaysia?
So actually eSports has been in Malaysia for a very long time. Since the day of StarCraft 1, Counter-Strike, Zero, that's like 1998, 2000, early 2000. It was already been there for a very long time. And throughout that, almost 20 years, that we actually have already, we have a lot of local players who are actually international level players. The best example is Mushi. So he's playing for international teams, winning tournaments all over the world. We also have a lot of other players as well who are just like him.
And I know in eSports there's a big debate which is sort of being resolved in the West. Like, are pro gamers considered athletes? That's something a lot of people are sort of wondering.
Actually, yeah, they are athletes. I was a professional gamer as well. I played the game FIFA. And when I was a professional gamer, you may not see it when we play, but there's a lot of preparation involved prior to playing the game. So a lot of people thought that pro gamers actually spend a lot of time in front of the computer, but actually they can only spend averagely 4 hours a day. The reason is because the training is intense, and when you train, it's not just on playing only. You'll be having a specific schedule. For example, if you play football, then you'll be practicing on free kicks only. You'll be practicing on how to score penalties. So it's the same thing as well. So there's a lot of strategy involved there. And besides that, they also need to do fitness training as well, because they need to maintain their stamina. Because when they join tournaments, they have to be at the tournament area for 10 hours minimum.
So a question on preparation. So on the managerial side, how do you prep the players before they go on stage for a tournament or enter a tournament? What do they have to do before everything? What don't we see?
In terms of preparation, players will have to prepare a lot before the match. In the analysis perspective, you have to learn about what the other teams are doing, what do you want to do to go against them, what kind of picks do you want to choose, what kind of champions you want to play, and what is currently in the meta, as in what is the flavor of the month, what are the things that people always do, and how you want to do about that. That is in the analysis perspective. In terms of coaching, in terms of psychologically, players tend to get stressed out. So as managers, we need to actually try to make them feel comfortable. Some people get better during stress, some people cannot handle stress. So we have to look into this kind of aspect, and we have to counsel the players, we have to make sure that they are fit to play. In terms of health, people do get sick sometimes during the match. It's not as simple as we get up stage and we play everything. There's a lot of things that we have to check. In fact, professional players from other places, they have matches on a Saturday and Sunday, but they have another 5 days to prepare. So if 5 days of preparation just for that one day, which you probably play 2 to 3 hours. 5 days for 3 hours, that's how much we prepare.
Now, on the gamer side, before you get up on stage or into a tournament, what do you personally do just to sort of prep yourself, deal with the stress and everything?
I do get stressed. I mean, we all scared to make a mistake when we are in the tournament, because in the tournament itself, there's no room for error.
We don't just practice to win games, because what happens during practice might not happen during the actual game. So there's a lot of preparations, and you have to control your mindset before you enter the game. Otherwise, you will be choking, you will not be able to perform. So we have to take measures in order to make sure that these kind of things do not exist and that we can play the best as we can.
So you mentioned earlier that Malaysian players, they're actually okay, internationally speaking. So, because we always hear a lot about the pro teams from the West, from Europe, America, all of that. So how do we actually stand up against those players, like the really established ones? As you said, we've had eSports pretty much since 15, almost 20 years ago, but it's only sort of really recently been picking up. How do we actually stand up to those more established players?
Well, it goes both ways actually. Of course, first on our local pro player sides, including the management sides and everything, we have to be exactly what it means, professional. So you got to present yourself professionally, you got to play professionally, you got to show that no matter where you are from, you can be from Kuantan, from Kota Baru, but you got to show that you are actually an international player as well. So your skill level has to be at that level as well. We need the local fans to also be more supportive of our local players, of our local teams as well. So it has to be both ways. The players, the teams have to show that they deserve to receive the supports, and the fans have to give the support when you see that they deserve it at the same time.
Right, because that's always been sort of a chicken and egg situation where you want fans to support you, but you also must prove yourself to the fans. So it's sort of like one step at a time.
So I would say that if you're a player, you become the chicken. If you're the manager, you become the chicken. And eSports manager have to become the chicken to lay the eggs.
From a manager standpoint, so you've been managing teams for a while, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So have you brought teams to an international level before?
At this point, we haven't actually got into the professional international level, but we got into the Southeast Asia region.
The Southeast Asian region,
yeah.
Okay.
Because in League of Legends, we have to go through the Malaysian circuit in order to go into the Southeast Asia circuit, followed by another one in the international level,
right,
which is the Worlds. Up until now, the highest that we have actually achieved is onto the Southeast Asia region, and the reason why is there are regions that are probably even more established compared to us. Regions like Korea, regions like North America, they are all very good in these kind of things because it has been done 20 years ago. But of course, in Malaysia, we are catching up because we have organizations like ESM, like Garena. All of us are playing a part in pushing esports to another new level. In League of Legends, most of the success of the team really depends on how they train and the infrastructure. We cannot win by sheer skills. We need to really plan and learn and study about the game. This is what we are trying to do, is where we try to implement as much infrastructure like coaching and these kind of things into the game, because this is something very important. When I came in as a manager of Kuala Lumpur Hunters, I gave myself 2 years. I told myself in 2 years we have to be beating the Southeast Asia scene, and then from there we will move on to the Worlds. I mean, there's another one more stage for us to move to the Worlds, but I would say the right timing will probably be 1 to 2 years. We'll be trying our best to do it, and hopefully we can achieve it.
Right, hope to see some Malaysians in the next one.
Yep.
That's a very, very insightful look into esports and gaming in general. And don't forget to tune in to Channel 808 throughout the month of October to watch the League of Legends World Championship 2015. Gonna be exciting stuff. So there you have it, a fantastic look into esports in Malaysia and internationally. And hopefully that does give you some insight into the gaming world.
Alas, we're at the end of another episode of Gadget Nation, but in the meantime, anything else, you can always find us on our website. Just look up Astro Awani. And a big shout out to Fishy Coffee for hosting us today. We'll hopefully be back in the near future. But fresh new content, fresh new gadgets next week. You do not want to miss out. I'm going to grab my coffee to go. Is it ready? Thank you. See you next time. Bye.